live stream here. Prior to Monday Night Raw, we had an eventful weekend as we saw NXT Deadline take place, a couple of new winners for the Iron Survivor challenges, and crowning new number one contenders for each respective championship. Also, really just a kickback stream to talk about one John Cena. We know that this upcoming Saturday will be the final matchup for the long, illustrious career of one John Cena, the franchise, the face of the company for the better part of 2 decades. And I really just wanted to use this stream as an opportunity to just hang out, talk John Cena, and just share our memories, share our favorite matches, our favorite moments of one John Cena. So again, as we continue to have this live build up, giving people an opportunity to join. Typically, we have the live streams open to just subscribers only. I have it open to the public to invite new people, new members of the J area potentially. And I'm gonna drop something in the chat here, and then pin it that way. We can have everybody's input. I see Muhammad in the chat. Shout out to Muhammad. Here we go. Shout out to Muhammad here. Says, hello and happy Monday. Happy Monday to you too, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Hopefully everyone's doing well here as we start another week of pro wrestling. Make sure to share your questions and comments down below in the chat. Just hanging out today, talking about, John Cena, some of our favorite memories, some of our favorite moments. Muhammad asks, how are we doing on a Monday evening? I personally am doing well. Just came off of work a few hours ago, and then once getting home, my brother and I, San Fran, we were putting up some decorations for Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there as well. And now we're here. Now we're live, talking about John Cena, talking about our favorite memories and moments. And as a lead-in to tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw, we have obviously Deadline had just concluded. Muhammad says, I don't think Cena should fully leave and retire. I think he should make special attraction to, from my understanding, I think John Cena will be making special appearances, very much similar to how like Stone Cold Steve Austin would. He, would come and go. Obviously, he didn't have a matchup for like 20 years until WrestleMania 38 with that matchup with Kevin Owens. But Stone Cold, he would appear every now and then as a special occasion. I think that's what we're gonna have with John Cena. I think although he may not be participating in matches per se, I do think that we'll be seeing him make these one-off appearances at like landmark events, whether it's like the Rumble, WrestleMania, maybe like Raw 2000. Just throwing a number out there, but I don't think it's gonna be the last time we ever see Cena. I think it'll be the last time we see John in a match, because I feel like he's the kind of guy who is going to be a man of his word and say, "Hey, this is my final match," and that'll be it. But I think he'll still be showing up. I think he'll still make appearances. I don't think he's totally gone. San Fran in the chat says, never forget when Cena threw Edge in the ocean, the Long Island Sound. I remember that vividly. It was in 2006 around the SummerSlam build. That was John Cena versus Edge. It was in Boston, near the Long Island Sound, and Edge had been thrown into the water, into the, again, the Long Island Sound by John Cena. Just a great rivalry. That whole stuff with Edge and John was such a pivotal rivalry in not only my formative years, but as well as San Fran, my brothers. I think Cena was like the perfect foil to a heel like Edge. It all started at New Year's Revolution when Edge had cashed in Money in the Bank, and they had gone on to be lifelong enemies, having great matches, having a great story. I think there's an argument to be made that Edge is a top three rival of John Cena. And just remembering him being thrown into the water by John, it's just a great rivalry. I can, again, feeding off of that, I can remember John Cena Senior, rather, John Cena Senior getting slapped in the face by Edge when Edge made it to his hometown home, and again, just a great build. Muhammad says that WWE's family, yeah, and that's why I don't think Cena will be gone forever. I think, again, in a match standpoint, he won't be competing anymore, but I do think he'll be making these appearances, here and there whenever they need him. He's one of the biggest stars in the company's history. I think you could certainly put John as like a Mount Rushmore guy. I think if you're looking at WWE history in terms of being the face, in terms of, how big of a box office attraction and significance to not only the business, but to the overall company, you're looking at Hogan, Austin, Cena for sure. I think those three are locks. And that fourth spot could go to other guys, like maybe an Undertaker, maybe a Rock, I think would be appropriate. Maybe Shawn to a lesser extent, because I don't think Shawn was ever really the face of the company. He would just happen to be one of the top performers, and that's a perfect segue here to Sanfran's next comment. It says Cena versus Shawn at WrestleMania 23 is underrated. That matchup, again, it's 2007, April 1st, Detroit, Michigan, WrestleMania 23. Shawn versus Cena. You're talking to a biased fan here. Shawn's my favorite wrestler of all time, and seeing him get in the ring with a guy like John Cena, I feel like in '07 was such a huge turning point for John, because we had known him for the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick, rapping, wearing the throwback jerseys, a lot of the reasons why we grew to love John. But in '06 and early '07, it was like a switch had been flipped. I look at his feud with Shawn, I look at his feud with Umaga. Those were two big proponents, I feel, that leveled John Cena up. He proved that he could wrestle. I loved his matchup against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23 and the 1 hour matchup on London, a couple weeks later, the rematch. It was really a great opportunity to showcase the wrestling talent of John Cena. He may not have been the flashiest, he may not have been the most athletic, but when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to the effectiveness of every maneuver that was being performed, you could argue there was no one that could touch John at that time. And Shawn, I feel like, was able to get a lot of that out of John. Whether it was the selling, whether it was the significance of every move, whether it was receiving a bump, whether it was just the significance of what he meant to the WWE at that point, and still to this day, for sure. Jose Lopez 94 in the chat says John Cena is my fourth favorite wrestler. I'd love to hear your top three. John Cena for me, I think he might be in my top 10. I wouldn't put him as high as 4. I have a certain style of wrestling that I'm a fan of, but John Cena was very much a big reason as to why I became a fan of wrestling. His rise to the top was like a very pivotal story that was being told during the time that I became a fan. I became a fan, for those just joining, in like the year 2000. Granted, I was just a child. But when my memory starts to develop, it was like that 02, 03, 04 run. And that was the years that John was ascending. He was becoming, a star on the microphone, in the ring, the gimmick. Like, John's ascension in the Ruthless Aggression era coincided with my growth in fandom in the WWE. My top three are Randy, Seth, and probably Rey Mysterio. A solid three. That's a good trio to have as your top three. I mean, Randy Orton, the legend killer, the legend himself, just genetically superior to like any other wrestler. This guy, if you were gonna build a wrestler, it's probably Randy. Seth Rollins is fantastic as well, has proven to be one of the unsung heroes of the last couple of WrestleManias, if anything. But also just his wrestling style, seeing him rise from Ring of Honor and PWG and NXT and now to where he's at. That's fantastic. And then Rey Mysterio. I mean, I would say arguably the greatest luchador. I'm sure there's other guys who would be in consideration, but I think it's a unanimous pick that Rey is near the top. I personally think he's the greatest luchador of all time. He's the greatest masked wrestler of all time. But obviously, there's going to be guys who are thrown into consideration for that. But that's a great three. AJ's 11th? That's crazy. I mean, but hey, it's your list, it's your preference, which is totally fine. AJ's phenomenal for a reason. And tonight, I believe he, along with Dragon Lee, will be defending the titles. They'll be defending the tag titles, excuse me, against the War Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. But he's great. Randy will wrestle longer than Cena, and when are we expecting to see Randy Orton wrestle again? Two solid questions. Well, I mean, one's not really a question, but great points here made. Randy, yeah, is on pace to wrestle longer than Cena, as well as he hasn't taken as many breaks as John. Obviously, Randy had to step away with an injury for a little over a year, most recently, but it's just an example and a demonstration as to how he was able to take care of his body and continue to push forward in his career. Randy Orton, there will never be another like him. Where can we expect Randy? I feel like the Rumble. If not the Rumble, certainly the build to it, but I think we can expect Randy fairly soon. Maybe even at Saturday Night's Main Event, who knows? But fairly soon, I would say. Trevor asks, CM Punk's farewell tour, what opponents would be on that list? I think first and foremost, you got to put, AJ Styles, because I would love to see that. A matchup that we haven't seen ever in the WWE in a one-on-one contest. I know they were part of a triple threat match, but one-on-one. We'll love to see AJ. I think revisiting his feud with Randy was a must. I would say John, but John's going to retire. I feel like if he ever were to make the jump, Jeff Hardy from TNA, I think that would be a no-brainer. There are a few out there. I mean, Drew, Seth, guys like that, Roman, a lot of the big names, honestly. But if I had to pick some from like the next crop of NXT, the newer, I think you'd probably put a guy like Mello. I'm a big fan of his. Braun Breaker for sure. I think Penta would be cool. It's difficult to pick, man. I don't think CM Punk would even have a farewell tour. Truthfully, I don't. He doesn't strike me as that kind. Yeah, we're live here on a Monday before Monday Night Raw. A little pre-show, a little pre-gaming before Monday Night Raw, but we are live and in living color. Jose asks, if I become a wrestler, I might pitch the idea to Triple H that should I be on NXT before shooting up to the main roster under a mask, and my ring name will be El Lobo, which translates to the wolf. Oh, a Lobo. Lobo, that'd be cool. I like the idea of a wolf. Obafemi would be a solid pick. Obafemi's gonna, dude, him and like Braun Breaker, I think, are gonna run the WWE for like a good chunk of time. Shout out to Obafemi as well, who recently won back the NXT Championship, defeating Ricky Saints at Deadline in a really good matchup. Did you acknowledge your tribal chief? Always. Always acknowledge your tribal chief. Niners versus Bears would be a masterpiece of coach versus coach. It's coming up, man. In a few weeks. Chicago Niners. Heavy implications for the NFC playoff. I mean, the Bears recently were the number 1 seed, but because of that loss to the Packers, they followed a wild card. I think they'll be fine. But that matchup between the Bears and Niners, ooh, it's going to be important. It's going to be important for both teams involved. I'm looking forward to it, but I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't just a little bit concerned. The Bears have been playing well. I have an idea for a promo to cut in the ring and a WWE ring. Ricky Saints versus The Rock. Imagine that. The promos would be crazy. I feel like Ricky. I like Ricky. I'm a fan of his, but I feel like he's emulating The Rock, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, LA Knight does it. He emulates, Austin and Rock, and it works. But Ricky versus Rock would be crazy. Do you believe that Roman is bigger than WWE? No, I don't think he's bigger than WWE. I think he's very big, mainstream. But I mean, I wouldn't say he's bigger than the WWE. There's a very few select group of guys that you could say are bigger than the WWE. Yeah, I feel like a guy like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker. Like I think these are names that are like everyone knows. Everyone knows. Obviously, there's a few others as well, but it's like those are the ones that really come to my mind. How would you fantasy book my debut on NXT, and who would my first feud on that brand be with under Sean and Ava? I think the most accurate and appropriate route would be like the breakout star tournament. You know, you have a few different names and faces that you might not be familiar with. I'm a big tournament guy, so if it was up to me, I would like to see the breakout star tournament. Perhaps this new individual joins and they fly under the radar. They start beating off favorites. They start defeating other members of the tournament, and they reach the final, right? And I don't think they should win because I feel like that's obviously a given. I say you have the person lose. You lose the final, and while the winner gets a championship matchup in the future, the loser, you in this case, earns the contract. I feel like Sean and Ava, they said, you know what, made a hell of a run. The crowd's behind you. I have a great future. They offer a contract, and now you are part of the NXT roster. I feel like then you can have someone who's already on NXT, you know, kind of scratching and clawing their way to the main roster. I would have it maybe against Tony D'Angelo because Tony D'Angelo most recently returned, but also he's been on NXT for like almost 5 years now, I think. And the story I would tell is Tony D'Angelo has been here. He has won tag team gold. He has won the North American title, yet he has not made it to the main roster. Whereas this individual comes in, makes a splash in the tournament, doesn't win the tournament, but he earns a contract. No, it's bogus. It doesn't make sense. So that would be the first feud: is you versus Tony D'Angelo. For me personally, that's the route I would go. And then obviously you'd win the feud, you beat Tony D'Angelo, and continue to climb the ranks, earning fanfare, earning a lot of respect from the crowd, and then we go from there. But that's how I would initially book it. Yes, you're right, but he also put that list. I'm assuming Roman. You could say that about Roman. I just don't know if he's there. But he's very well known. Braun Breaker's absolutely nothing for now. I mean, Braun Breaker, man, he's the future. He's gonna be a future world champion. Main eventing WrestleMania for sure. Tony D'Angelo is of Italian descent. That's correct. You come from a Mexican background, came from the Windy City, plus I myself. Well, there you go. I feel like it kind of writes itself. You also have a little bit of an Italian ancestry, like a Tony D'Angelo. There can kind of lie some kind of underlying theme within that feud. No one has the potential that he has. Like of a Braun Breaker. Braun's crazy, dude. The physicality, the athleticism. He cut a pretty good promo not too long ago on Raw. Braun Breaker's legit, dude. I know how to speak a little bit of Italian. That's cool. I'm a big fan of the Italian culture. Mostly the food, I'm not gonna lie. That's cool. Braun Breaker versus Batista or Bill Goldberg dream match is there. I would rather see Braun Breaker versus Batista. No, I'm not talking about Braun Breaker. I'm talking about Roman. But okay, you say that no one has the potential. That I mean, Roman's not even about potential anymore, though. Because I don't feel like Roman has potential per se. He's just Roman. He's lived up to the expectation. There were like so long, so many years that fans were pushing away Roman because of the urgency of the office to push him as the next face. It's like he's arrived. He's solidified. Roman is one of the biggest stars in pro wrestling. I just don't know if it supersedes the sport. If you were to talk to a casual fan, not even no, if you were going to talk to a non WWE or a non pro wrestling fan, they're going to know names like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, and The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio. Those are names that everybody knows. I don't know if Roman is one of those guys yet. I feel like John Cena might be, you know? But I don't know if Roman's there yet. He is the real GOAT. I don't know about that. Roman's great. Roman's great. To me, the GOAT is Shawn Michaels. That's just my personal take. But I feel like you could put John Cena, Austin above Roman. I love Roman. He's great. You could see yourself going after the Speed Championship. Isn't Jasper Troy the uh, the current Speed Champion? It's a lot of wrestling to keep up with. Who is this Ric Flair? Absolutely nothing. Okay, come on. Let's not pretend like Ric Flair is not one of the greats. I gotta ask you then. Would you prefer Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair? That's like the biggest debate coming out of the '80s. Yeah, I heard one name Austin. Austin's one of the best, but Flair I think is definitely up there as well. Having great matches against the likes of like Dusty, Ricky Steamboat, Terry Funk. Obafemi is Nigerian. I have Nigerian ancestry. Jesus, so wait, you have Italian, Mexican, and Nigerian? Okay. We're gonna give out some 5 memberships here to the J area, welcoming to the J area, Nem underscore 0728. Tyler back. Lord Jones back as well. Kent Freeman back as well. Shout out to you guys. Welcome to the J area, allowing you guys the opportunity to see exclusive post polls and have first priority replies in the comments, as well as having unique username badges that reflect how long you've been a member of the channel. Sam versus which feud was better, Cena versus Punk or Randy? Oh, Cena versus Punk or Cena versus Orton? I'm gonna say Punk. I feel like Cena versus Punk had better matches, better quality of matches, but also that 2011 feud between Cena and Punk carried 2011. Carried 2011. I love Randy. Don't get me wrong, but some of his matches were mid when it came to the ones against Cena. Against Punk and Cena, I don't think Punk and Cena have ever had a bad match. Manhunter wants Roman to fall down. I don't know. I don't know about that. May not be Cuban. No offense to Cody. He's of Cuban descent. He is, yes. Cody is of Cuban descent from his mother. Are you gonna watch Raw today? I am. I am gonna watch Raw. Usually on Mondays we go live prior to Monday Night Raw just to get a feeler, just to talk pro wrestling. But I will be watching Raw in the not too distant future. You too. Who's your favorite on Monday Night Raw? Mine, I think, would have to be Punk. That's my guy. Cena's a good performer, absolutely, absolutely. But he doesn't compare to Roman. Okay, you're a big Roman fan, and that's cool. I respect it. That's awesome. But I'd go Cena, and maybe because I'm biased, I grew up watching John, so. But I appreciate the input. Your fifth favorite's Kofi. Wow, shout out to Kofi. I don't think Kofi ever really gets that much love. Punk and Jay, solid. Dom and Liv and Cody, great choices. These are great choices. Love Punk, love Jay. Jay gets a lot of help, gets a lot of hate online, but I'm a fan. I'm happy that he didn't win against LA Knight though. Even Seth is also better. Yeah, no, Seth is great. Seth's one of the best of this generation. Attitude Era was great. I loved the Attitude Era. I thought it was very entertaining. The moments were great, but I do think there's an argument to be made that the match quality wasn't the best. But the Attitude Era goaded for its character work, for its moments, and it was also, the big wrestling boom as well. Edge is great. Big fan of Edge. Bring back B show pay per views or custom stages. Oh my god, please, man! I would love to see the B show pay per views or just custom stages. Like, yes, we recently shared on TikTok 5 pay per view or PLEs that I think WWE should bring back. You should check that out. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at JAreaPod underscore. It's at JAreaPod underscore. You get extra content that you wouldn't see here on YouTube. Your time is up. My time is now. You can't see me. My time is now. It's the franchise. Trying to finish the lyric. I love wrestling. I do too. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. I'm a lifelong fan of professional wrestling with a YouTube channel that just primarily talks about the daily events of pro wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, maybe a little AAA, whatever that may come our way. I've been a fan since I was like a small kid and never gave up the wrestling bug. So we started this YouTube channel a couple of years ago, but last year was really when it hit the corner and started building some momentum. So I'm very pleased with the progress we've made here on YouTube, and especially in amassing more subs and getting more views and continue just to grow this community. That's my biggest thing, is growing the community. I love wrestling with rock and roll and music in it. I agree, Muhammad. I think wrestling is much more better with heavier music, whether it's metal, whether it's rock. It's just a pairing that goes really well together. So, okay, I'm gonna read out the comment here. They say, "What if I had three matches with Tony D'Angelo? With him winning the first one, I win the last two, then get on the mic and propose that he and I go for the tag team titles." I think so. It's a difficult way. It depends on how the feud is built. If it's a blood feud, it won't work. But if it's a built on respect, maybe. I mean, look at how MVP and Matt Hardy did it. I think your best bet would be, let's say he wins the first one, you win the second one. The third one's kind of inconclusive. It could be a draw of some sort or no contest. And through that respect, they form a tag team partnership. And upon losing the tag titles, jealousy between one or the other, and it leads to a fourth matchup, a decisive victory for whoever that may be, you or him. Who's the masked man? I think it's Austin Theory. I think it's Austin Theory. Just a similar build. We haven't seen him for a long time in WWE. I don't think it's Dean because he's currently in AEW as Moxley. I don't think it's Seth because they really wanted to seem like it's Seth with the curb stomp. But I don't think it's him. Jericho, again, the build is not him. This guy's built like Austin Theory. I'm gonna keep this live going for a few more minutes. We're gonna call it probably within the next 7 minutes. Continue to drop in your comments and questions down below, sharing what you think about John Cena, your favorite matches, your favorite memories. Love to hear from you guys in the chat. I will say one of my favorite memories for John has to be that WrestleMania 21 win, where he won the WWE title for the first time. That show, that pay per view WrestleMania 21, was such an important and significant show in my early fandom because so many of the guys that were rising stars were featured. Ray versus Eddie, great matchup. Money in the Bank was great. Randy versus Taker was great. Shawn versus Angle, all timer. Cena Batista win the titles. I think it's just all three: Rollins, Jericho, and Austin. No, it's. I think it's Austin Theory. Pretty confident saying that. But make sure to drop in your predictions in the chat. I think it's Austin Theory though. I'm pretty confident in that. It's definitely Theory. Yeah, I agree, Dax. It's definitely Theory. Plus, it's about time that he and Grayson Waller had separated. I was over it. And now seeing him with singles, I think it's great for him. We're gonna start closing up here on the stream. I hope you guys enjoy Monday Night Raw. We have, Monday Night Raw coming up. Obviously, SmackDown. John Cena's final matchup on Saturday against Gunther. Hopefully, it's gonna be a banger. I'm really looking forward to that matchup. Also, I kind of predicted it. Check out TikTok where I pinned my prediction. I, I I hate it, but I think Gunther goes over. Tina says, "Do you think AJ and Dragon Lee retain?" I do. I think they retain their titles. I don't think it's time just yet. I like the War Raiders, but I'm gonna go with Dragon Lee and AJ to retain. Appreciate the question. But yeah, we tend to go live here and there and try to continue the conversation, allowing you guys the opportunity to ask your questions, voice your opinions, voice your comments in the state of pro wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, etc. Continue to support the channel. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at JAreaPod underscore. That's at JAreaPod underscore. The War Raiders are so strong they have to not retain. And that's what I think, though. They're so strong, they're so imposing that it makes you think one thing, but it's really the other. I think Dragon Lee and AJ outsmart them, and they get the victory. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Um, Continue to support the channel. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more wrestling content as we continue to build the J area into a bigger community than ever before. I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, and I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the day. Hopefully, you enjoy Monday Night Raw and enjoy the rest of the week. And we'll see you guys. Can it be life after Raw? Uh, Sometimes I do, but I don't think I'll be able to tonight. Make sure to keep your notifications on and subscribe to be notified when we do go live. It's usually before Monday Night Raw as a lead in. It used to be after, but because of daylight savings, I mean, you know, everything's pushed back. And plus, unfortunately, with this side of YouTube, you have to have a day job and I wake up early. So, but we do occasionally go live. So make sure you have your notifications on and subscribe. When we do go live, we typically go live Monday afternoons, and then occasionally after premium live events or pay-per-views. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you guys on the next one. Everyone take care. Be cool and be